Okay, so this is the housing part 2 video. That first one was getting really long, so want to break that up. This is part 2. Okay, so we have our extrusions, we have our mirrors. We're going to do some cuts through. We're going to do some extruded cuts through this part next. Okay, I'm going to do a sketch right here on this surface, so I'm just going to click here and going to click sketch. Now I'm going to do a circle, center circle, and I'm just going to click right in here. Doesn't matter, you can see that it's off center, but we are going to fix that very quickly. I'm going to press escape, smart dimension, click the edge, move my mouse, click to the side, 2.25, enter. Okay, now I want to add a relation where this circle is concentric with this circle here. And that's one of the many relations we're going to use on a regular basis. We can go up and we can add a relation the way that we did before, where we could select this, and then it's going to say, do you want to make these concentric? Yes, you do. Or we can select this, hold Control, click the circle, and it gives us options right here as well as options down here. Okay, I'll just say I want to make these two concentric and press the check mark. Okay, now it knows the size of the circle and where it's located. It knows that it shares the same center point as this circle. So that gives it its X and its Y location. Expand the model. Extruded cut. We're going to go not just a certain distance, which would be blind, and then we would set the distance. We want to go through the entire part. So we're going to click down here, and we're going to go through all. And that's going through the entire part. And you can see the preview. It's going to go all the way through. Okay, something, actually now I regret doing it the other way. You can see that we've got all these different parts going through here. So now you can see the line that's created. This is one part, this is one part, this is one part, and this is because I mirrored a body and didn't merge them. So let's just keep this simple. We're just going to merge all of this stuff. So I'm going to make sure that this is expanded like this. And I'm going to click the first one, hold Shift and click the last one. And then I'm going to right click my mouse and go to Combine. And I'm going to have the operation type as add. I'm going to click here. Okay. Now those little lines have disappeared. Solid body is now all one. All right. Make sure we're saving. Now we're going to do another sketch just like we did right here, and we're going to extrude cut through the entire part all the way through here. So select my surface that I want to do my sketch on. Sketch. Center circle. Click. Escape. Smart dimension. Click here. We want this to be 0.575. Press enter. Now before we exit this, we want to add a bilateral tolerance. We'll get into more of that specific later, why we're doing that. Right here we have an option. It says tolerance precision none. We're going to select bilateral, and we are going to change these parameters to 0.005 plus, and we're going to leave the negative in 0. Okay. If you want to show 3 units of precision, you can click here and go down to 3, and you can see that it's added that third one here. I'm going to click OK. Okay. Now we want to add a concentric relation between this circle and this circle. So I can either do the add relation way, or I can select here, hold Control, click that circle, make concentric, great, accept, extrude cut, through all is what I want, cuts all the way through. Hopefully by now you can see the procedure for creating things. It's very methodical, the way that a lot of this modeling is. So now we are going to use Hole Wizard, which is a very powerful tool within SolidWorks, to create some countersunk threaded holes in this part. Just like I said before, there's a bunch of different ways you can do things. The way that the book tells you to do it this way is tell it what, here's Hole Wizard right here, you would tell it what size hole and the features, countersunk, all of that, what the fastener is going to be, and then you would click on the face and then add relations to that. I find that to be pretty problematic. Sometimes it loses relations that way, so we're not going to do it that way. What I want to do is I'm going to do one hole that's right here, and then we are going to create a pattern that runs the holes all the way around here. So I'm going to create a separate sketch that locks in the position of that first hole. So let's do a sketch. We're going to select the surface and go to Sketch and click off to the side here. Now I'm going to use a construction center line. So I'm going to click down the down arrow here, go to center line. I'm going to kind of hover right over here, and I'm going to find that quadrant point, which is right here. And then I'm going to move my mouse over to here. Click there. Press Escape. Make sure that it appears black like this. And we're going to add a point right in the midpoint right here. So we're going to go right here to a point, click there, and just click right there. Check mark, accept. Press Escape. Okay, now we're going to do Hole Wizard. Okay, Hole Wizard is right here. We're going to click on Hole Wizard. Now we've got a whole bunch of different options here. We are going to use this one right here, which is a straight tap. We're going to click there, and you're just going to put in exactly what I'm doing here. ANSI inch. This is a tapped hole. The size, we're going to click down here, and we're going to go to 1/4 right here. And then we're going to type right here, we're going to select up to next. This is going to say up to next. And we're going to click right here. I'm going to move this down here. We want to make sure with thread callout is selected, and we want to turn off near side countersunk. Okay. Now that we have all of the information about the hole and we have to tell it where we want these positions to be. So I'm going to select the Positions tab here, and I'm just going to go and I'm going to, let's see, I always forget how to do this one. I think a 2D sketch might let us do it. Yeah, if I select that point there, my gosh, it's never done that before. Okay, I hope that's right. I'm going to see if that works. I'm going to click the check mark. Yeah, it did it. Okay. Okay, so you can see, I don't know why it turned white. That was weird. So if I spin the model, if I zoom out and I spin the model a little bit, I can see that it's gone up to next, which is right there. And that's exactly where I want that to be. Okay. In appearance, we can add to this too to show that this is a threaded hole, or a tapped hole, I should say. Um, if we go up to where it says the annotations, we can come up here and we can just hover over annotations, right click. We can go and add, we can click details, and then we can say shaded cosmetic threads here. And then we can press OK. So now it's going to just show graphically that that's a tapped hole like that. They're not actually physically carved, threaded in there. It's just showing that that's what's going on in there. Okay, the book has thrown another curveball into this model, and this happens all the time when you're modeling. There'll be a change. Somebody will tell you, "Oh, we're not going to have this same distance from edge to edge and edge to edge on this cut." Okay, well, not a big deal. We just have to go back and change that sketch. So we're going to go back and edit that sketch, which is right here. If you don't see that, and it looks like this, you just locate the feature, you kind of go up, move your mouse. Okay, what's going on? That's a boss. Oh, there's a cut. That's the feature we want to change. We're going to click the down arrow here, and we're going to find our sketch here and go to edit. Okay, here's our fillets that we did and the last thing we did, and then we have our distances from here. And it wants us to change, we want to keep these 0.375, and we want to change these to 0.25. So I'm just going to double click here, type in 0.25, double click 0.25, enter. You can see how it looks. It's changed. I'm going to click there. Look at that. Very easy. All right. Save it. Make sure you're saving. Next, we want to use a circular pattern to add multiple holes around this ring that we have created here. So we're going to need two things. It's going to ask us for two things. We need to know, well, what feature are you going to what feature we're going to pattern, and what are we going to pattern it around. So right up here you see linear pattern, and that's the X and Y direction. We don't want that one. We want to click down arrow here and go to circular pattern. Okay, now first it's going to ask us, well, what direction? That means what's it going to spin around, a pattern axis. So we're going to click there. And if we would have created an axis through the middle of this, we would create that. But if we select the ring here, it knows that it wants to spin around that kind of ring surface, that cylinder. Also, that's the same as this one. That shares the same center point, so it'd be fine. You could also select this one, the one on the other side. It doesn't matter, they're all the same. So I'm going to click here. And then I'm going to click this feature here. And you can see it's only added this little guy here, which is not what we want. We want to make sure that this goes to equal spacing, 360 degrees. We're going to spin all the way around. And then we want a total of how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to change that number to 6. And press check mark. Look at that. Now we've got 6. Huge time saver rather than doing that hole 5 more times. Makes all the sense in the world to do that. Okay, you can see on the back side what's going on. Now let's mirror those to the other side. Mirror, mirror face, we're gonna click here. We gotta find that mirror we want. This is our mirror. This is a feature that we want to mirror, and we are going to select 2 things. We're gonna select the first hole that we did and the circular pattern. Those are the 2 things we are going to mirror, and you're going to click the check mark. Okay, spin the model around. I don't know why this has done this before to me, where the threads aren't appearing in this one. I don't know. Maybe if I hide and show again, it'll do it. I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. Maybe I'll figure it out later. Now we're going to add some more tapped holes onto this surface right here. And if you are following along in the book, you can see that they do a different technique that I'm going to show you. That's where, kind of how I described before, you would tell it what size hole, tapped hole, information of the hole, etc. And then you would just place them on here. And I have found that just is always a problem. So we're going to create a reference sketch. So I'm going to click on this surface here, and I'm going to go to Sketch. And I'm just going to create a, let's see, what shall we do? I'm going to do a corner rectangle here. And I'm just going to hover. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hover right over this edge right here, and it should give me right there. That's where I want the hole to be. So I'm going to just, when I hover over that, sometimes it's difficult. There. The little crosshairs right there. I'm going to click there, and then I'm going to do the same here. Where are you? Come on. Come on. There you are. Okay. And I'm going to check, and I'm going to press escape, and I'm going to make sure that everything is in black. And I'm going to use this. This isn't critical for this one, but I'm going to just create a box around all of that and press for construction and press check mark. And all I did for that was to create that window for selection is I just, right here, I'm just going to create a box like this. So I'm going to click my left mouse. I'm going to click and hold, and then I'm just going to drag my mouse as I'm holding. And once I have everything in the box that I want, I just unclick. And then I can, in this case, I was changing it from solid lines to construction. So I'm going to press there. Okay, we are done with that. I'm going to press this here. Okay. If it's not showing, if you can't see it, if it's hidden, see how this is blue right here? If that's hidden, this blue doesn't appear. If you just hover over that sketch and you right click, you can turn this little eyeball on and off. Right now, if you click, it's going to hide it. Right, same thing again. Hover over, right click, eyeball to show. Okay, now we're going to use our hole wizard again. We are going to do the same. We're going to do a straight tap here. This is tapped hole. This is now going to be a 632, which you got to go up. 632. This is blind. And I believe Yeah, that's correct. We want this. We want. I think everything else is fine with thread callout. It should not have anything else selected here. We're going to go to positions, existing 2D sketch, I think. Now let's do, let's go back to type, go back to positions. Let's do 3D sketch. And I'm going to click there, hole there, hole there, hole there. Click OK to accept. Very nice. Okay, let's hide that sketch like I showed you. We're going to right click here and go to the eyeball to hide it. Okay, looks good. Make sure you're saving. Hope you're hanging in there. This is the first model you do, so this is a pretty complicated one. But just take your time and you'll end up with an amazing part in the end with lots of features that you created. Okay, so we're going to create a slot right here. So I'm going to select this surface to do a sketch on and click sketch. It's going to spin the model around. I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to select a straight slot here. And it doesn't matter exactly where I click. I'm just going to do something like here, click there. That's the center, and going to do something like that. And then I'm just going to move my mouse out, something like that. Okay. Now we need to apply dimensions to this. I'm going to click the check because I'm done creating the slot. Dimension. I'm going to dimension this line, the distance between the centers. I'm going to change that to 0.434. And then I want my width between here, click, click, is going to be 0.25. Okay, so now we know the size of the slot, but now we need to tell it, well, where in relation to the part is this going to be? So the book is giving us those dimensions. We are going to, from this point, click here to the edge, outside edge here. Click there. This is going to be 0.5. And the distance from this outside edge to the point here is also 0.5. Okay, everything is black, means fully defined. You are done. Click the check here to accept. Spin the model around a little bit so you can see what's going on. Looks good. Now we're going to do an extruded cut from there all the way through the bottom of the part. I already have my sketch highlighted. Extruded cut. It's going through all. Accept. Okay, now we want to add slots on all sides of these. So we're going to mirror in two different directions on this. So we're going to go to mirror. And we're going to find our first mirror plane. I'm going to click here. I'm going to select this one here. And then for a secondary mirror plane, we want to mirror it across that direction. The feature we want to mirror, we could click this, or I can zoom in and just select it. And you can see that it's mirrored that across here and those across to the other side. Looking good, looking good. You can spin your model around, check it out, admire your work. And now that I'm looking down at the book, I realized that it wanted to use a linear pattern to create those, where you would tell it, okay, I want to have another slot that's a certain distance away from this, and in an X and a Y location. Because they're equal on both sides, everything is mirrored. You really would want to use the mirror feature like we did for that. We'll get into that linear technique, the linear patterning later. Okay, we're almost done. Good job hanging in there. We're going to add some pretty fillets. Fillet. Let's put our size in first. I think this is right, 0.125. We're looking at the book to see what edges it wants to select. We're going to select this edge here. We're also going to select this edge right there. Spin the model. Select this edge here. And this edge here. I think that is it. Like that. If you select the wrong edge, you can always go into this box and you can say select what's wrong, and you can right click and you can delete it, or you can clear all the selections, which just starts everything all over. Okay. Click to accept. Looks great. Double check to make sure you didn't forget anything. Check the book. And the very last thing we're going to do is it's specifying what the material is. So we want to make this cast iron. So right now, I'm going to shrink these down a little bit here. We don't need those. Material is not specified. I'm going to select, I'm going to click on material. I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to edit material. And we want this to be steel. And so we're going to go down here and we're going to do alloy steel. And it's giving all the properties for the cast steel. My cat is making all kinds of noise today, and my dog is too. They're very upset with me. Apply and close. So depending on the add-ins in your SolidWorks, you're going to at least see it turn a different color. And you're also going to see that alloy steel is applied. If you're lucky enough to have, sorry for those that don't, kind of a real view graphics preview, you can find that here. You can click down and go to real view graphics. And you can see what that looks like. You can zoom in, and for some reason, I think I have the wrong one selected. See, this is what happens. Cast alloy steel is what I want, not just alloy steel. Edit material. It's here. I'm sorry. Cast alloy steel. You guys probably caught that. Apply, close. There we go. Now we can see the cast appearance. Cast alloy steel. Now the lighting is really crazy in here. That's a very reflective, shiny cast. But we're not going to get into lighting. Anyway, I'm going to turn that off because that requires a lot of computing power to do that. Okay, make sure it's saved. You are done. Great job, everybody. To learn more about our program, check us out at fvcc.edu. And for more tips and tricks, subscribe to this channel.